Free mind, you crazy for this. Soulful. It's like our responsibility to make us feel something. You know, to make people feel what we feeling. Hey, yo.
Regie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is the Ready, Set, Go preview show, a show that we do on Sunday to basically start the week off right. And we do that by talking about some news and some current events, and then also talking a little bit about some of the content that is going to be released from the channel over the course of this upcoming weekend. I will tell you that there are, I think, some pretty good videos scheduled. And then we also have a really awesome live stream planned for Wednesday, in which I'm going to bring onto the show the creative team that is behind the comic that we have been working on for the last few months. It is a comic called Isolation. The entire creative team is going to be on the show, and we are going to talk about the comic, the comic book creation process, and all kinds of good stuff. I'm definitely looking forward to that show. But I want to give a huge shout out to all of those people that are here in the live stream right now on Sunday, hanging out with me, again, getting the week started off on the right foot. I'm looking at a couple of names here. I'm trying to scroll through this. Mark is up in here. It is good to see you, my Canadian brother. Tina, the OG Blue Wrench, is always up in here. It is good to see you. Scrolling through, there is a comment here that we need to pause for a hot second. Whenever a member of the comic book community is having a tough time, it is always important for us to take a moment to acknowledge the fact that we are not just comic book collectors. We are parents, we are grandparents, we are business owners, we are all kinds of things. And so I want to take a moment to acknowledge that. I just put this up on the screen here. I know a lot about that. I had a nephew that was born premature. He was 963 grams or something like that, severely premature. And at the time I was working for a company that produced products to protect premature infants from something called a respiratory syncytial virus, RSV. And even for me, after being in the NICUs and the PICUs and all of this kind of stuff, it was very, very difficult for me to see my nephew in such a state. And so definitely my thoughts are with you. 2021 new age investments. I'm positive that other folks in here are having some positive thoughts for you as well. Scrolling through some of the other comments here. Randy Resnake is up in here. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Jeff is in the house. It is good to see you. See what I'm talking about? We are way more than just comic book collectors and people that spend money on funny pages. This is a wonderful community that I am proud to be a part of. Doug, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Squirrel Madness is in the house, another one of my Canadian brothers. Welcome, welcome, brother. Scrolling through the comments here. Joe is up in here. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Ken is in the house. It is good to see you. What, man, I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays. One Wolf Gun, how you doing, brother? John is in here. It's good to see you. Another Canadian right here, my man Harvey Abel. Welcome, brother. It's good to see you. Chris Bigger's up in the house. The Canadians are deep. The Canadian contingency of the Gibbon gang is deep. Let's just put it that way. It's good to see you. My man Dennis is up in here. Thank you, brother, for all of the creativity that you allow me to tap into for some of the stuff that I share on Instagram and also here on the channel as well. Scrolling through, is Milt up in here? Milt, I don't know what was going on with Milt. Milt has some shenanigans going on with his Instagram. So there is no longer a Milt Comics. It's like some flower stuff. I mean, like legitimately like some flower stuff. Milt told me it's a long story. And I'm gonna let him tell his story in due time. But if you followed Milt on Instagram, you will no longer be able to find Milt Comics. It's now something else. Milt, aka Mr. Flowers. It is good to see you, brother, and sorry for whatever it is that may have happened to your Instagram. Scrolling through some of the comments here, Vox is up in here. Owen, it is good to see you. Joey, the Stuntmaster and son, it is good to see you. Liger Style is up in the house. Thank you, brother, for those well wishes for 2021. Uncanny Swag is in the house. Scrolling through GT, it is good into oblivion. A lot of people up in here. It's good to see all of you all. I definitely appreciate folks hanging out with me. I'm gonna tell you right now, if my voice sounds a little strange, if my nose runs, if my eye drips, you have to forgive me. I spent several hours yesterday cutting down more trees on my property, and then I suffered an allergy attack. I had a major allergy attack last night that has continued into today. I have eye drops in. I have several Benadryl on board. I have Flonase, some other kind of nasal spray, and I'm also on Claritin. Like I am on so many products right now, and I still am not 100%. So after this show, I'm going to take probably another Benadryl and go to sleep. And hopefully tomorrow I will be in a better place. But today has been brutal. I've been watching Gotham, and I've been drinking coffee, and I've been taking naps. That is essentially how, and then blowing my nose all day. Literally, that is how my day has unfolded. So you guys just got to bear with me. I am way behind on the comments. Wow, I'm way. All right. I think I don't know if we're gonna have a food truck. I know I spoke about a food truck, but we also have found a really awesome chef that makes food for us here at the house that does catering. So there is a strong possibility that we will have some amazing catered food for Garage Con, which is going to take place in November, either the 12th or the 19th. So I hope folks can actually make it out because it is going down. We're talking about wall books tonight, man. A lot of people are confused by the theme. A lot of people are the theme is 9.8. That is the only thing that is going on right now. You gotta have fun with this stuff. Turbo Man, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Well done, brother. Well done. Let me see. I'm scrolling through some of the comments here. All right. I think I'm all caught up. No, I'm way behind. I'm still behind. Man, we're gonna try to do it. We're gonna try to do it big. As you guys would imagine, we try to do cool things for Garage Con, and this year it is going to be like last year. We're going to do something really cool for Garage Con. I hope folks that are in the area or have the ability to travel to the area, I hope folks come. We did it this year, and I don't think there was one single COVID case that came out of us coming together and spending a day together talking about comics and hanging out and all that good stuff. Let me give you guys a rundown of some of the content that's going to be coming out from the channel this week, and then we're going to get into a couple of things. And there are a few things that we're going to talk about tonight that dovetail and carry through some things that we have spoken about in the past. And I personally was enlightened by some of this stuff. You all may be as well. But before I get to that, what happens when you speculate and you get it wrong? That is the topic of one of the videos that is going to be coming out this week. When spec goes wrong, because let's be completely honest, we don't always get it right when we speculate. And so I'm going to be talking about that in the video. What do you do when spec goes wrong? I also am going to release a video in which I show you guys some dope comics that I found while on the hunt in the 100K collection. I didn't leave the house, okay? I didn't leave the house. I went downstairs, but I found some dope books that I'm going to show you guys this week. And then also FOMO. FOMO is a real thing. FOMO is a real thing, and FOMO can jam you up. It can jam you up like nobody's business. So in the video this week, we are going to talk about if you get screwed by the FOMO and what you do when that actually happens. And then, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we're going to have Comics Today on Wednesday, in which we're going to bring the creative team together that is behind the comic that is being released from Swoldier Publishing, my publishing company. I mean, it's basically just me and like my wife. That the whole company is like my wife and I. But Swoldier Publishing is releasing a comic called Isolation, and on Wednesday we are going to have the creative team together, and we are going to take a look at some pages from the comic. I hope you guys can join me for that. It is Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also during that show we will announce the winner of the short box giveaway. This is the $100 credit to buy anything on the Shortbox app. We will announce that winner, which means that you have from now until Wednesday to actually get in the running. There was a video that dropped what was it? It was the secrets to making the hobby work. No, I lied. It was stop overpaying. Stop overpaying for comics. Watch that video, and in that video, I tell you how to actually enter the giveaway. The video was released on the 18th of this month, and so you have some time to get in the running for that. All right. Speaking of isolation, I'm also doing something special for Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, there is going to be a special variant cover of Isolation, the first publication, right? That is going to be Patreon only. And I have posts up, I think, on the Patreon page, on the community tab here on YouTube with all of the details, but it will be a Patreon only variant. And so you have to sign up if you want to participate by the 1st of May. You have to sign up before the 1st of May, and you have to be a member from May to July of Patreon in order to qualify for this variant. And at a certain tier, the variant is free for you. Below that threshold, you have an opportunity to buy it. It will not be some stupid price, but it will be something that is not available in any way, shape, or form to anyone that is not a Patreon member. So I want to give people fair warning of this variant coming so that folks have time to sort out and decide what they want to do. All right. So with that said, let me scroll down. With that said, we have spoken a lot about Netflix, and over the last little bit, we've spoken a lot about Netflix. You guys know that I have had or have just about every streaming service that is out there, and by far, Netflix is my favorite. The original programming that Netflix comes out with, in my opinion, is incredible. It's like consistently good. Like you might get something on Prime that's decent. You might get something on Hulu. You might get something on, well, no, Disney Plus is pretty good. Let's be honest about that. But it's not perfect, right? Netflix, in my mind, consistently is killing the game. But Netflix was recently, just hit. Netflix was hit hard. And I want to talk for a few minutes about that. Let me make this a little bit bigger before I even share it so that folks can actually see it. This is an article that I found on techradar.com. But I'm pretty sure that if you search online, you can find similar articles. This is not something that is not known by people. But Netflix cancels multiple shows amid huge subscriber loss. I mean, huge subscriber loss. I mean, there is no way, there is no way that this company could be unaffected by the number of people that have defected from Netflix, or maybe lost might be a better way to describe it, because there's a lot of ways that these subscribers have been lost. And it says Netflix is already canceling multiple shows and movies after its recent subscriber and financial problems. It says the streaming giant has pulled the plug on numerous in-development shows. The company's animation department has been hit hardest by the issues currently plaguing Netflix, which has suffered downturns in its market value and subscriber base since the turn of the new year. And I just assumed that they were doing well. But it says yesterday, we reported on Netflix announcement that it had lost 200,000 subscribers since the start of 2022. It says additionally, the streaming company's recent pull out of Russia over the war in Ukraine lost it an additional 700,000 customers. And it says Netflix estimates that they will lose another 2 million paying customers before June, which led to the company's market value plummeting by 50 billion. That is redunculous. They have lost basically, or given up, depending upon how you want to look at it, about 1 million subscribers, and they're going to lose another 2 million by June. That is a lot of lost revenue. And as a result of losing that revenue, they need to stop the bleeding, which means that they need to shut down a lot of these really awesome programs and TV shows and movies that were either in development or that were, supposed to be coming back. They're probably not going to happen as a result. And I'll tell you again, I personally think Netflix has some of the best programming out there when it comes to a streaming platform. My wife told me just the other day that I think CNN had a streaming app or something like that. They also shut down. But this is like, I think CNN would have loved to have numbers like what Netflix actually lost, right? Because I don't think that platform is well received at all. But this is bad. And it says, as Netflix reckons with its first loss of subscribers in over a decade, plus a huge slump in the valuation of its shares, Netflix has seemingly moved to proactively combat further financial instability, and that means canceling multiple in-development projects. I'll tell you, their CEO is not going to give up his house. I've heard from the guy that used to work for me in California that his house is dope. Guy used to do work for me. He did work for the CEO of Netflix, and he says that he had an amazing car collection and an amazing house. CEO's probably like, look, we need to stop this bleeding. We need to shut it down. And hopefully they will end up weathering the storm. But as I work my way through this article, there's another section in here that I want to kind of talk about. It says Netflix is having to deal with increased competition from Disney Plus, from Prime Video, and HBO Max. Again, these platforms are not as good, but they still pull dollars, right? They still pull customers away. The streaming trio equally provided value for money and high quality entertainment for viewers. So Netflix doesn't have complete control of the streaming market like it used to. Add in Apple TV Plus's growing influence. Maybe about that. Apple TV is good, but I feel like everything you have to pay for. Like Netflix, you sign in, you watch it. It's there for you. Apple TV is like $12, $13, $5. There's always a charge for something. But what they point to here is not, they don't give us a full rationale for what's happening, but part of it appears to be them stepping away from Ukraine, which is why, or Russia, which is why they lost 700,000. But the other part of it is the competition. And another part that they point to here are the spiraling cost of living in some countries, such as the UK, has had an adverse effect on Netflix's subscriber base. It says as food, fuel, and energy prices increase worldwide, households are having to make tough choices about what they spend their money on. This is something that we spoke about before. We spoke about inflation having some impact on comics and collectibles, and now we're seeing it potentially have some impact on Netflix and these different streaming platforms. It says, if it's a decision between feeding your family, heating your home, or continuing to pay for Netflix, which would you choose? I think most people are going to be like, I need to feed my family, or I need to feed myself. I need to put gas in the car. And as a result of that, Netflix is basically losing out. That is not a hard decision to make in any way, shape, or form. The other part that they point to here is the password sharing. That move recently by them doing what they're doing to stop turning a blind eye, they say, to people sharing passwords. Potentially now we know why maybe they were doing some of that, right? Why they put this in place was to maybe stem some of the bleed, maybe to capture some additional revenue that they were losing. And it says it remains to be seen whether Netflix can recover from these setbacks. Yes, the streamers 220 million strong global subscriber base. Somebody do the math on that. So like, how much money is that? Like, what is the basic Netflix subscription? Like, just do it in dollars. 22 million multiplied by whatever it is that we pay. Because I honestly have no clue what we pay. That is a significant amount of money. So I wanted to point to this article here about Netflix canceling multiple shows for a few reasons. Because of the inflation tie-in, the fact that I love Netflix, and we talk about a lot of Netflix shows here. That was like a big part of why I wanted to talk about this. But the other part is that this is having an impact on, to some degree or another, comic book creators as well. And I want to give a huge shout out to Chuck for putting me up on this. Chuck is the one that flagged this for me, which got me to start looking into some of this stuff. But this is the news. This is the news that probably has some ramifications for us. Jeff Smith puts up a post. He is the creator behind Bone. He puts up a post that says, "Never again." A very weary comic after yet another Bone adaptation falls apart. So the Bone was in development at Netflix. Netflix's animation department was making magic happen, and then all of these subscribers were lost and things were getting shut down and people were getting let go. What really got hit was the animation department, and as part of that, the Bone adaptation is now out the door again. And so Jeff Smith actually put up what I thought was a pretty interesting cartoon, maybe a satirical cartoon. He put it up on the Twitters. So I want to show you guys if I can find it. Yeah, this is it right here. Let me make this thing bigger. Doug is probably going to get a kick out of this one. So it says, "Hello, I'm Nickelodeon. I want to make a animated Bone movie." And then I guess Jeff Smith or whatever is saying, "Okay, let's make a movie." And then in the form of Charlie Brown, the ball gets pulled away from him. The second row here looks at Warner Brothers. Want to make an animated Bone movie. Literally the same thing happens after Jeff Smith, I guess, reluctantly gets on board. And then the next one is the same thing happening with Netflix and how he believed that it was actually going to be different. And we know how this always plays out. And then at the very end, he declares never again. And then there's another party that enters the scene and says, "Allow me to introduce myself." So I thought that was a pretty interesting little cartoon that was put out there. I mean, I feel bad for him. I really do, because I can't imagine what it's like to have a piece of IP that is really loved by a lot of people. Like, I've never really read Bone, but I think that there are a lot of fans out there that are really loving this IP. They wanted to see it come to life. There are others that saw the value of their Bone comics skyrocket, right? We actually did a whole segment in a video looking at some later prints that were essentially unknown to a lot of people. So there was a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz around seeing this thing come to life. And now the ball gets yanked away, and it does not appear that is actually going to happen. Let me see. Let me see. Scrolling through, I'm laughing at a couple of big mistake for Netflix. Children love Bone from school library, says Joey the Stump Master. I've never read it either. Bad to the Bone. That's not a good joke. No, Chris Bigger. No, sir. Matt Wood said it's a good one. Dang, that's got a sting. I mean, the thing about it is that even if he made, some good money, right? Even if he made some good money from some of this stuff, I think the dude just wants to see his IP come to life. He wants to see it come to life in a different form and maybe reach different people in a different way versus just the comic book. So I understand and I empathize with Jeff Smith, what he might be going through, even if he made a lot of money by doing these deals. I'm sure some funds were exchanged, but it's got to be disappointing. It's got to sting, and what he might have been talking about at the very end of that cartoon is that someone may have already reached out and was like, "Hey, I heard what happened. You want to come over here?" And you never know. You never know who it could be that might be trying to pick up the pieces and make it happen. Steve White says, "I haven't read it. I do love a good Bone Thugs and Harmony. I do. I'm a huge fan. East 99, huge fan." Scrolling through. And again, speaking of Sandman, I wonder, Doug, whether we are even going to get the Sandman, brother. If you think about it, it's been pretty quiet. It's been pretty quiet for the Sandman. So you never know how far some of this stuff is actually going to go. Let me see. What's the over under on man? So here's the thing, Flash fan. When the show wrapped up, several people, including my man Wayne Squirrel Madness, sent me all of the legal wranglings that Ezra Miller, who plays Flash, has been involved in. He's already on his third one. I think the first one was allegedly choking a woman. I think that was the first one. So I think it seems a lot of this, it seems to involve women, which I find a little disturbing, right? The first one was him choking a woman. The second was snatching a microphone at a karaoke bar from a woman and lunging at a man. The third was throwing a chair and lacerating a woman's forehead. I do believe that those are the three incidents that he has been in trouble for. And again, as I alluded to in the last, I didn't see anything involving alcohol with some of this stuff. And I'll be honest, I didn't look all that deeply. So you guys may have to correct me on that. And if drugs and alcohol were not involved, then there may be some other deeper issues at play, which I find that to be that's tough. That's tough, So I don't know, but I have a feeling, man, that there could be a fourth one. I just this guy is, man. So for those that are coming in, we're actually now talking about Ezra Miller, who is the guy that plays Flash. He seems to be on a little bit of a downward spiral, which is crazy because the Flash movie is supposed to be coming out. I want to say it's on June 23rd. Is that correct? I think that's correct. June 23rd, it's supposed to be dropping. So it's going to be very, very interesting, man. You guys are running with the Bone Thugs and Harmony, man. Yeah, he did. Did you see this? I think you guys remember the commercial with the single tear that fell. I think that was Doug. I think Doug dropped a single tear out of his eye. But again, Bone won. Oh, I love it. Scrolling down. I am way behind on the comments here. Oh, that was on camera. Oh, bro, that's brutal. I mean, let me not go down that road. Let me not go down that road because all right, Dave, that was a good one. Well done, brother. Way to bring it back because it was going down. I was going down a very negative path with Ezra's behavior and women. So thank you for bringing that one back, man. You guys are hilarious. I am scrolling through these comments. I'm going to try to get to some of this other stuff. Let me see. Yeah, man. And that's one of the big questions. That's one of the big questions that I kind of posed during one of the other things where I talked about this is, would the movie even come out? And just pause. Think about this for a hot minute. Think about the lumps that DC Films has been taking. They have a movie that I believe is in the can, ready to rock, going to course correct a lot of stuff, maybe set a new tone. All these actors, all this money has been paid, and now you have a guy that is not necessarily doing what he's supposed to do, but you still have this movie that you've invested all this. What do you do? Do you release it? Or do you shelve it indefinitely and just waste all of that money? And let's be honest, their track record is not the best. So that's just brutal. There you go. So, but that's the thing, Joe. I've never seen the substance abuse stuff mentioned, but I've looked at a lot of the coverage in Hawaii. You would assume that they would talk about that. They're not necessarily shy about talking about drug and substance abuse. So I don't know. Just Pele. I don't know. Scrolling through, Mark's putting in his bet. How did we get on this topic? Who did this? Was it Chris Bigger? Did Chris Bigger put us on this topic? Let me scroll down. Let me see. Let me scroll all the way down. Chris Bigger. He's this guy. This guy stirs up trouble. Sandman book. Don't do that. Don't do that, brother. Come on now, Steve. Don't do that. Let's just wait for some official news to come out. There are things already in the works. Okay, Steve, don't mess it up, brother. They need to. Okay, so Pretty Fly, who I think is pretty knowledgeable about a lot of this movie stuff, movies and TV shows. He says they need to release the movie due to contracts. So whether they want to do it or not, Pretty Fly, do they have the ability to delay? Do they have the ability to push it back to maybe allow some of this stuff to like calm down just a little bit? Or do we think that there's deadlines associated with this? I'm just curious about that. That's true. Well, no, that's not true, because the last incident was actually at a friend's house. It was actually at a friend's gathering. One could assume that beverages and other exotic things were available, but you never know. Scrolling through, put me in Well done. Hey, so I did see something on Instagram where they were basically looking for extras to star in movies on the IG. It's a great platform for soliciting comic book fans to be in the background of movies. You know what I'm saying? But I did see solicitation for being extras on Instagram for movies. And I can't remember if it was MCU movies. It might have been MCU movies, but I just thought that was really, really interesting. Scrolling through some of the comments, Steve Conge is saying release it and then recast afterward. Scrolling through, yeah, using the multiverse, you can always get rid of. Let's be honest, brother. If they put me in a movie, I'm going to be on my best behavior. I'm going to be on my best behavior. I've never been arrested in my life. I'm certainly not going to get arrested after you put me in a movie. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. Scrolling through some of the comments here, they've already delayed it multiple times. Yeah. Because I mean, the first time was for the pandemic. I don't know about any other delays, but the first one I know was because of the pandemic. Man, put me in. Put me in. I look good in red. I look good in red. I'm gonna just be honest with you. It's just my favorite color. I just embrace the red. Scrolling through the comments. All right. So for those folks that came in a little late, we did spend some time talking about the fact that Netflix has lost about 1 million subscribers and are on the verge of losing an additional 2 million subscribers before June. As a result of this, they are canceling lots of in development movies and TV shows to try to stem the tide of what is actually happening. And in all fairness, part of why this is happening is because they chose to give up about 700,000 subscribers in Russia because of the war in Ukraine. Some of the other loss is attributed to multiple factors, including competition from other streaming platforms, inflation, and there is one other thing that escapes me at the moment. And also maybe potentially people were upset about the fact that they put that password sharing stuff in place. That could have also maybe contributed to some of the backlash against them. But the really sad thing, of course, is that this is having an impact on lots of people losing their jobs, losing their positions. And then also we spoke a little bit about Jeff Smith, who is the creator behind Bone, actually not being able to move forward with a long-term plan to bring the Bone comic book to life as an animated series. And so definitely a tough thing for him, because it seems like this is something that has been in the works for a very, very long time. So some thoughts for Jeff Smith and all the people at Netflix that were involved in this project that may have lost their jobs as a result of this. Let me see. Scrolling through. There you go. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 had there you go. That's what it was. Oh, here's a question for you. What would you rather be, in the Guardians of the Galaxy or in the Avengers? If you had to pick one, which would you pick? I saw that post on comicbook.com's Instagram page. I saw that right around the same time that I saw this, which is the casting call for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So clearly James Gunn is now at work on Guardians of the Galaxy. Now that he's finished up with the DC stuff, he is now shifting his attention from Peacemaker and other stuff over to Guardians of the Galaxy. Wasn't there a rumor this weekend about potentially using Dark Hawk in Guardians of the Galaxy? And there's like a question now whether we might see Dark Hawk in part 3. That would be dope. I have plenty of Dark Hawk #1s left from the 100K collection. I am ready for all contingencies. All right. So I'd rather be in Gen 13. Rush says Avengers. Chris, that was not a choice. Chris Bigger, this guy does not follow. I don't understand. Definitely Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Guardians all day, says Mark. Avengers, says Fat Dad. Guardians can be an alien. You can be an alien or a different planet set. That's what's up. Scrolling through, a couple of people shouting that. All right, good stuff. I thought they just wrapped up Guardians. I don't know, man. I just work here, brother. I just report the news, okay? I just report the news as best I can, okay? I'm just one person. So one other thing, to the point of sharing news, Predator. Predator is finally, I think, going to appear in a comic. I mean, as you guys know, Marvel actually bought Aliens and Predator a while ago. They pulled the rights back as from Dark Horse. We've seen the Alien comic come out. It's been out for a while, but what about Predator? We think that we're actually going to get some Predator action now. And this article that I found on CBR may highlight why we haven't yet seen any Predator as of yet. But it says here, Predator joins Marvel Comics lineup in July with the release of a new series and a grim variant cover showing the merciless hunters atop Avengers Tower holding the severed head of Iron Man. So first, let me just tell you, that cover has nothing to do with the comic. The cover has nothing to do with the comic at all. It's a dope cover from David Finch, but it has nothing to actually do with what happens inside of this comic. So, but this is the image right here. Definitely a cool image. Let me see if I can find this thing. Where was it? Oh, I think it's down here. It says Marvel acquired the licenses to both Alien and Predator in July 2020. While the company's new series may not feature the Predator interacting with heroes like Iron Man or variant covers or other variant covers released in May of 2021, saw the Alien Warrior battling Fantastic Four, Guardians, the Valkyrie, Miles Morales, etc., etc. It says these variants were originally meant to coincide with the publication of Predator 1, which was intended for 2021, but has been delayed a year. And it says likely as the Disney company, the parent company that owns the rights, settled a lawsuit with Jim and John Thomas, the screenwriters behind the original 1987 Predator film and its 1990 sequel, Predator 2. There is oftentimes a reason why we don't hear about stuff. And you guys remember, I think I spoke about a lot of these covers. I showed a lot of these covers. Aliens came out, and then it was like radio silent for Predator. Potentially now we know what it was. It was a copyright lawsuit that was actually going down. And I can tell you, copyright law is tricky. I spent some time talking with my lawyer about isolation, trying to make sure that we were all set up with copyrights so that we were fully protected in every way, shape, or form, because copyrights are important, potentially as illustrated by what is happening right here. And they actually go on Ed Brisson, who is, I think, doing the writing. I think he's doing the writing. He actually talks about his long history and appreciation for the Predator franchise and the fact that he was able to actually work on this project. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just wanted to kind of share that with you guys because, again, this was something that we've spoken about in the past that has been very quiet, and I wanted to revisit it. That is a cool David Finch cover, no doubt about it. All right, so let me go to the chat real quick. Let me see. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna tell you. Some people kind of lost their minds a little bit when I spoke about Eternals and some of the recent DC movie moves and stuff like that. I had a couple of people that lost their minds. They were calling me a DC fanboy. So first, like that's super derogatory to call a grown man a fanboy of any sort. That, at least in my book. But it also shows that the person has no clue who I am by saying I prefer DC because I was critical of Marvel, because I was also critical of Marvel within by talking about Eternals wasn't all that good. It's just fascinating. Sometimes people lose their minds in the comment section. Let me see. Danny Glover took out a Predator. Danny Glover was dope. Danny Glover was the man back in the day. He was always in the buddy movies, and I love some Danny Glover. I absolutely did, man. Scrolling through. Oh, come on. Man. Don't rile the troops up, okay? I don't need DC people being all upset. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Well done, Dennis. Well done. That's what's up. That's what I'm saying. It's just people pop in and they see me make comments, and then they just like assume and subscribe all kinds of beliefs to me. Like, because I was critical of Marvel, I must be a DC fanboy. No. You can enjoy something and still be critical of it. Eternals was not a great movie. Let's be completely honest. It was not a good movie. But yeah, people are hilarious, man. People are hilarious. What is that? The Danny Glover chin swing in his shooting pose. Well done. All right. So let me take that off. Let me see what else you guys are talking about in here. scrolling through, yeah, ASM is my thing, but you got to remember, I was also super critical of Nick Spencer. The entire Nick Spencer run was just painful, and there's no doubt about it. That doesn't mean that I didn't buy it, because I'm a diehard ASM Spider-Man fan. But if it's not good, it's not good, and I'm not gonna say that it's good just because I'm a fan. Darkhawk, it's 90s. It's 90s. A little forgiveness with Darkhawk. Don't hold that one. Don't hold that one against me. Let me see. Scrolling through. What is that? Do I collect? Regie, do you collect Marvel or DC Legos? Oh, no, brother. So two things. You got to take one G out, just a single G in Regie. And two, I believe, this is my personal belief, I can only have one vice at a time. So no, I don't collect Legos. I can tell you, I to some degree or another believe that Legos are the work of the devil. The work of the devil. And any parent out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's dark, you walking through your room, just trying to go get a drink of water, go get a snack or something like that. And then you step on one of those Legos. That is the work of the devil like nobody's business. It is serious. I'm telling you, write it down. It is the work of the devil. I tell my children every day, because their rooms are this way. Dad needs a path to the comic book room. You do what you do. Give dad a clear path to the comic book room. Because if I step on that Lego, it is on and cracking. It is all good, brother. We're just having fun, TW. Do not worry about it, my friend. We are just having fun. I still have Lego scars. You have them on your feet and your soul, sir. Your feet and your soul. Lego scars never go away. They never go away. All right, you guys are awesome. All right, let me get rid of this stuff off the screen so I can move on to the next topic. The next topic is this. Speaking of just bad movies. Speaking of bad movies, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, reading through this. But I want to talk about bad movies and bad TV shows. And here's the thing. I didn't set this up. It just naturally flowed into this topic, and I'm very thankful that it actually happened. I'm actually going to be looking at the long-term comic book fan and movie watchers out there, because I'm going to be completely honest. There's stuff that I'm about to show you guys I have never seen in my life. So I'm going to depend upon you, and I will ask you, if you know where I can find some of this stuff online, I want you to send it to me, because I want to see just how bad some of this stuff is. Let me pull this up real quick. And the title of this thing almost tells you everything. 10 live action superhero shows everyone forgot existed, probably including the actors, the directors, and all the people involved in the projects. But you can see a couple of them right there from the top. And it says, over the last 10 years, fans have been treated to some of the best live action superhero shows of all time. After the success of Smallville, the CW created Arrow, which spawned its own Arrowverse. Like The Flash and The Legends of Tomorrow. Didn't clear for that one. Flash was pretty good. The success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe encouraged creators to tackle other Marvel characters, leading to shows like Daredevil and The Defenders. You probably could have said Daredevil and Punisher, maybe not The Defenders. That might have been a bridge too far, but they took it there. It says today's audience enjoy series like Moon Knight, Loki, and the Titans. I enjoy 2 of the 3 because there's no shortage of great modern superhero TV. It's no surprise that some shows have fallen out with audiences' minds. Several past superhero shows, whether successful at the time or not, seems to have been forgotten by fans. Number 10, I did not know that this was a thing. Joe, I'm looking at you, brother. Did you ever watch this? Shazam from 1974 says was overshadowed by other shows at the time. No, that cape overshadowed. I did not know such a thing existed. I don't know. Wait a minute. What is that? All right. So I had no clue that there was a Shazam TV show But sure enough, there was back in 1974. It says it came on the heels of the widely successful Batman show starring Adam West. Batman was entertaining for both adults and children, using camp to its advantage. Shazam was bright and flashy, but not quite as clever or nuanced as Batman. Number 9 on the list, The Amazing Spider-Man wasn't as flashy as its Japanese counterpart. I have watched some of the Japanese Spider-Man. It wasn't exactly terrible. This one, I actually do not have any knowledge of at all. Amazing Spider-Man ran for 13 episodes from 1977 to 1979. I mean, I was born in 76, so you would assume that I was part of the target audience. Said it was one of the lowest rated superhero shows on television at the time, and it had to contend with the Incredible Hulk and Wonder Woman. So Amazing Spider-Man 1977 did not meet the demand. Superboy in 1988 was quickly followed by more popular Superman shows. I don't recall this one either. And again, this thing went on for 4 seasons. 4 seasons following a young Clark Kent at college. Never saw it. Let me go to the chat real quick to see if anybody saw some of this stuff. I would watch Superman whenever I was sick. maybe there were a lot of sick kids out there that allowed it to survive. I just also realized that I am on the Wi-Fi. Is it clear? Can you guys even see me? And now I'm worried that if I switch it back to the hard line, that we may lose quality. Icebox says, glad I grew up in the 90s. When cartoons were not that, I guess that's the point of that one. Scrolling through, the Wonder Woman show was good, says Steve. It's clear. All right, so I will not change it, because the last time I did that, it was horrible. It was horrible when I changed it over. Thank you guys. I definitely appreciate that. All right, so number 8 was Superboy from 1988. Swamp Thing. This one I do remember. Swamp Thing from 1990 was unintentionally campy. This one, again, I don't know that I enjoyed it. I don't know that I hated it, but I remember this one. I also remember the 1982 Swamp Thing film. I do remember that, and they kind of highlight here that the film was better than the TV show. I guess that's the point of this. Coming in at number 7. Number 6, did not know a thing about this one. The Tick, and 2001 was fairly beloved. Said it was a sitcom, of course, based on the comic book series. Before the release of the sitcom, The Tick had already been adapted into a very successful animated series in the early 90s. I didn't see any of it. I was not the biggest Tick fan, so potentially that's why I had no knowledge or understanding of this one. But I guess it was beloved. I guess it was beloved by people. Birds of Prey in 2002 is number 5. Yeah, nothing. I did not see this one. I did not see them. But what's interesting, it says it premiered with 7.6 million viewers, which is crazy. That is a lot of people to tune in for a show, but it says the viewership and ratings soon fell off, forcing Warner Brothers to cancel the series after just 13 episodes. But 7.6 million viewers, that is a lot of people. Did anybody know that there was a Blade TV show? Did anybody know that? Mark is like, meh. Oh man, Birds of Prey I remember but never watched it, says Liger. Was that a direct? Wait a minute, did it come on direct? Hey, if you're gonna slide it in there, sliding in after the Super Bowl is the way to do it, and that maybe that's why it was 7.6 million. But Blade in 2006, no awareness of this, and again, I'm not the biggest TV movie buff, right? But I'm not seeing a whole lot of people that are like, yeah, I remember each and every one of these. But the Blade series takes place right after the events of Blade Trinity, and some guy named Kirk Jones, I guess that's Kirk Jones right there in the middle, could not deliver like Wesley Snipes. Was Wesley in jail by this time for tax evasion? I don't know. He probably would not have done a TV show. Number 3, The Cape. Never saw this. Didn't actually come from comics. I think this was an original thing that they put out there. But the Cape. Number 2, Powerless. And this show, Powerless, which came out in 2017, basically focused. This was a DC property where they dealt with all of the non-powered people and that were typically in the background behind the superheroes. They actually brought them to the foreground and put the heroes in the background, and that was Powerless. No awareness of these. Kingpin says I was vaguely aware of the Cape. The Cape was decent, says Trev. The Cape was classic. Was a cheesy NBC series. There you go. Right there. The Cape was okay, says Joe. Some folks actually remember this. Okay. Again, I didn't see any of this stuff. Didn't see any of it. Powerless was more of a comedy. I can kind of see that with these two guys on the right hand side. The facial expression that is a comedic facial expression. So I could definitely see that. Kirk Jump, shut the front door. That's his real name. Sticky Fingers has a real name. Onyx was the group back in the day. Pause. Onyx was incredible. Fredro Starr, he's the only one I really knew the real name of because he was on Moesha. I think he was on Moesha. Sticky Fingers, I did not know. Wow, check that out. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that. Again, I'm not too proud to say when I don't know something because there's a lot that I don't know. Anybody want to guess what the number 1 show is? Does anybody want to guess what the number 1 show is that people want to forget ever existed? Anyone want to guess? I'll pause. No Automan on the list, says Chuck. Well done. So, oh, man, the 90s music was just incredible, man. It was incredible. So many great ones. What's up? No mention of Malibu's The Nightman, says Click. Let me see if anybody. Flash, Iris, the 50s Batman, Lois and Clark, The Mantis. Couple of people guessing. Okay. What is that? Gotham. No, Gotham is amazing. Brother, no. Gotham. Woof. Woo, I'm watching that right now, and I cringe every time I see Jada Pinkett Smith in there. I cringe every time now. What about Nightman from Malibu Comics, says L. Smith. The Mask over here. Okay, Alf. okay. I just saw the correct answer. So for those people that are coming in late, we are talking about live action superhero shows that people want to forget were ever made or ever existed. The number 1 show, according to CBR, is this one right here. It is indeed The Inhumans, and it says that it simply fell short of expectations. It was ungood. I watched it. I'll be honest. I watched it. I wasn't blown away by anything that happened, but yeah, it was The Inhumans. That was The Inhumans. And who was the first person I saw that? There you go, Herman got it. He was the very first person that actually came up with it. Congrats. There's no prize, but congrats for being on there. I remember Manimal. I remember that. It was like the whole hand thing. That was dope. Now don't be critical of Manimal, man. I may need to pull that up on YouTube. Maybe I will watch some Manimal tonight. All right, so scrolling through. Yeah, The Humans was pretty bad, says Mr. E. Yes, indeed. Lockjaw was the only thing that was good, says Fletch. That's what's up. Herman wins a no prize. Oh man, yeah, brother. There's no prize other than my live thanks to you for correctly guessing the number 1 show. A massless black boat and a hairless Medusa. Lockjaw was okay. You gotta love it. So was I. I don't remember a lot of that stuff, man. I mean, again, like a lot of people, I was in and out of comics over the decades, so there's a lot of stuff that just got past me. And at various points, I wasn't watching a whole lot of TV or didn't have cable or was just doing other things. And a lot of that stuff, I missed a lot of that stuff. No doubt about it, man. So bragging rights. There you go. There you go. Wait, Turbo Man. Weighted bright sided way. That's the way that you do it. Scrolling through some of the comments. Man, I am way behind. Manimal was cool for the time. Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing is you kind of like Lou Ferrigno as Incredible Hulk. Like you have to put it in like the close up on the eyes and you have to appreciate it for what it was at the time. You know what I'm saying? And Manimal was dope. I can't tell you one episode. I can't tell you what happened. I just remember his hand as he turned into like a panther or something like that. I couldn't remember the name of the show for like a long time, but I remember the hand and how it would just, he would do the thing and the nails would, it was dope. Dope. I'm telling you. Let me see. I like the act. I do. The actor that played Black Bolt was good. No doubt about that one. Scrolling through some of the comments here. That's a good point. Well, I was in Michigan for part of the time. But then I spent a healthy amount of time in LA and in Washington, DC, brother. There was no winter. I'm going to tell you that right now. I spent a lot of time outside doing lots of cool stuff. So I saw Lou yesterday. You saw him at the con? I think you were at a con, right? There you go. Daredevil was trending today. I wish Disney Plus would bring that back. Well, you might get some Charlie Cox. I'm going to tell you, Charlie Cox as Daredevil is phenomenal. Phenomenal actor by him. There are, and then John Berthenthal, I think that's how you say his name. That Charlie Cox as Daredevil and John as Punisher, you can just bring them right back and I'll be good to go. Bring back the guy that played Luke Cage. I thought he was a solid Luke Cage, even though that series or that show probably went 5 episodes too long. They should have kept it really tight, but they wanted to stretch it out and it was painful. It was painful, but I enjoyed his acting. Fingers crossed that they can actually make that magic happen and bring some of those shows back from Netflix. Netflix clearly can't afford it now. They're losing shows left and right. So maybe there is a deal to be had. All right. So again, real quick, I want to give you guys a heads up. The Swoldier supply boxes are going to again be shipped mid-month. We've had several additional people sign up over the last few days. If you have not signed up, I definitely want to encourage you to do it. It is over 2 pounds of comic books and comic book supplies. There are some awesome keys that are going to be randomly inserted in the boxes this month. Heavy on X-Men. There's also a He-Man in there. And a couple of other books I can't remember off the top of my head, but they are posted to Instagram. You can get the box in 2 ways: via subscription. You can sign up on the website, regiecollects.com. And I will also be offering just individual boxes. Those boxes, when I know the quantity, will be posted on the website as well. You can get a single box or you can sign up for the subscription. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. Some good content that is also coming out from the channel over the course of this week. I'm going to be hunting, or I'm going to be showing you guys some cool spec books that I found in the 100K collection. We are going to talk about how FOMO can mess you up. And then also, I had a little fun with the thumbnail, you'll see. And then also, what happens when spec goes wrong? Because a lot of us are speculating on comics. Sometimes it's a couple of bucks, sometimes it's real money. What happens when things don't go right? We spoke about Bone earlier today. There might be a lot of people that speculated on Bone on this show, this animation finally coming out. What do you do when spec goes wrong? We're going to talk about that in a video this week. And as I mentioned, on Wednesday at Comics Today, we are actually going to be having the creative team behind the Isolation comic coming on the show. All of the creators behind this thing are going to join me, and we're going to talk about the comic book creation process to some degree. And hopefully you guys will enjoy the conversation that we have amongst ourselves. All right, with that, we are going to wrap this thing up. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me a little bit this evening. I hope that you enjoyed the show. And if you need to reach out to me for any reason, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.